My name is Jeff Morgan. I am from Dallas, Texas, and once again I'm in Rockwall, Texas right now at the Rockwall Courthouse. There's one issue I want to talk about that is coming up for a vote this upcoming session in Texas. It's House Bill 803. House Bill 803 deals with the idea of parents sharing custody of children, that parents actually have parental equality when it comes down to custody determinations. If you look at the data from the Office of the Attorney General, it is very much skewed in favor of females, mothers having possession and custody of children. That goes completely against our Texas Family Code. Our Texas Family Code says that neither gender nor marital status, sex nor marital status, shall be considered in child custody decisions. First off, I'm not even sure why the state is involved in this, but the state is involved with this. The state somehow thinks that they need to divvy up children to either one parent or the other. And many people that I know, both men and women, are impacted by this. Many people that I know cannot see their children on a daily basis, or the custodial parent, as we call them, uses the children as weapons against the other parent to either extort him or her, get something from him or her, declare the other person as being unfit or dangerous. It is a very evil and wicked system, and in many instances you see people fighting and fighting, spending hundreds and thousands of dollars to the benefit of the Texas Family Law Foundation attorneys, the divorce attorneys, the custody attorneys, all of these different things. They make it so that people have to keep fighting to see their children. They bankrupt people. They transfer the wealth that should be going to the children from their children to the attorney's children. This is a sickening system. Now, there is always one group that will oppose equal shared parenting, and that is the Texas Family Law Foundation. So the Texas Family Law Foundation will always tell you that the standard possession order is the best thing in the world, and they lie. They lie to the people on the Juvenile Justice and Family Services Committee about what exactly the standard possession order is. And they try to say it's almost 50-50, but they'll never go with 50-50. They'll just say this is the best thing for the children because they know they're lying and the people will keep fighting to see their children. And that's how these attorneys make a lot of their money. I'm not going to say whether I'm for 50-50 shared parenting or not. I'm actually for 100-100 shared parenting. I think it is in the best interest of the child for the mother and the father to work things out, to stay married. Marriage is for the children. Any type of divorce, though there are reasons for divorce and there are times of divorce as a necessity, it's traumatic to children and it's something that children need to be healed through. At the same time, to take a child who's gone through that trauma and to pretend, as these divorce attorneys do, we need to hurry up and settle this thing so that children can get on with their lives. Oftentimes, children have a lifelong scar. Oftentimes, children don't know why they can't see their father every day or why they can't see their mother every day. Now, here's the hypocrisy of the Texas Family Law Foundation, or as I more appropriately call them, the Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation. These lobbyists who are here, who want to keep the divorce industry going, who want to keep the child support system and all types of other fighting in family courts going for their own profit. And by the way, I'm at a courthouse right now. There is a judge in here, District Judge Brett Hall, who said that 67% of his cases deal with family court issues, family law issues. Family law issues, 67% of his caseload. So that's why the divorce attorneys need to keep these fightings going so that they can keep on making their money. But the hypocrisy of the Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation is this. They believe in no-fault divorce. We must have no-fault divorce. No-fault divorce because somebody that shouldn't be trapped in a marriage, or they use no-fault divorce for whatever reason. But they say no-fault divorce, and then after the no-fault divorce, they want to find fault with one of the parents. Their position is extremely inconsistent. If you want to have no-fault divorce, the only option would be to have 50-50 shared parenting, period. If you have to have some type of child support, you take both parents' incomes, you put them into you factor them together, And maybe that's what you use as a calculation. You don't make it so that one person who gets the children also gets benefits, gets cash prizes, and the other person gets penalized by having perhaps 20, 30% of his or her paycheck go to the other person who can spend it on whatever he or she wants to, as well as probably getting other government benefits. So the Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation says that we must have no-fault divorce, but then they do go back to the fault issue. The fault issue comes down to parenting. The only consistent position that the Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation could maintain with integrity is to say no fault divorce and 50-50. If they want to say one parent should have custody versus the other parent, what they should be doing is going back to the fault-based system. So if the Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation wants to renege on their support for no fault divorce and say, you know what, the only consistent way that we can actually talk about these issues with child custody and stuff like that is to go to a fault-based system, a person who has committed no fault should not be penalized by having either his children or her children taken away, having another person, maybe a boyfriend, maybe a girlfriend, maybe a new fiance, maybe a new husband or a new wife to the other person. Now have the children calling that person daddy or mommy or whatever it may be. That is extremely cruel to the child. It is abusive, and yet this is what happened in the state of Texas. And Texas Anti-Family Law Foundation, with their lobbyists, Steve Bresnen and Amy Bresnen, that they are lobbyists. They get paid to do this stuff. They defend the system. They are defending the system for the divorce attorneys. Divorce is a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. Divorce causes trauma. They are being abusive to children and to grandchildren, and they don't care. They act like they are your friends. Steve and Amy Bresnen are lobbyists. The Texas Family Law Foundation, for the most part, there may be some good people in there, but for the most part, they are people that do not care about your children, because if they did, the first thing we'll be saying is, you and you work things out. You need to fix your problems, because the best interest of the children is very rarely, if ever, that you two get divorced. The best interest of the children is for you two to fix your marriage. The purpose of marriage is so that children can be raised in a stable and intact home environment. That is in the best interest of the child. So any judge, any attorney who talks about the best interest of the child while advocating and profiting from divorce is lying to you. And people like Steve and Amy Bresnen, the lobbyists for the Texas Family Law Foundation, in my opinion, are people that do not deserve respect. They are lying, they are abusive, they don't mind peddling your children, trafficking your children. So once again, House Bill 803, it is for 50-50 shared parenting, sponsored by Mace Middleton. This is something that people have realized is a big issue. I look at the issue to say, well, maybe it will help to decrease the incentives for divorce. Divorce is the trauma. Divorce is that which causes trauma to the children. And if by 50-50 equal shared parenting, it reduces divorce, that would be a good thing. However, at the same time, a person who is out there either because of the Texas Family Law Foundation, we have to have no-fault divorce for somebody beating his wife. That person should not have 50-50 shared parenting, but that is not a no-fault issue. And a person who is out there committing adultery on her husband, running around with sleeping with everybody, every guy that she can run into, or even several repeatedly, that person should not have the children. The innocent spouse should not be being punished, and the children should not be being traumatized further by our states, by these divorce attorneys, by the judges. This needs to change. So regarding House Bill 803, I support it with some qualifications. I also don't support it because of other instances. But the thing that I do support is this. parents should be treated on an equal basis. Parental equality is what the bill strives to have, so that children have access to both parents. The best interest of the child is to be raised in an intact family with mother and father, with mommy and daddy, together. That is the best interest. And if that does not take place, and it truly is a no-fault divorce, 50-50 should be. The only consistent thing is that 50-50 should be the standard. If you go to fault-based divorce, if somebody leaves a marriage, abandons a marriage, that person should not be rewarded for abandoning a marriage. That person should not be rewarded for beating his wife. That person should not be rewarded for sleeping around on her husband. The innocent spouse should be protected. Of course, the children should know both parents, but we should not incentivize divorce with this false idea called no-fault divorce. It's destroying our children, and not just that, it's even impacting our grandchildren. Divorce has transgenerational effects. Children of divorce have many more issues than children in general than children who come from intact families, and the children of divorce often pass these issues down to their children. So parents, your divorce not only affects your children, it affects your grandchildren. These Texas anti-family law attorneys will not tell you that. The judges will not tell you that. Will not try to stop a divorce. And our laws are perverse. They need to change. House Bill 803 is an attempt to try to make things less traumatic for children. The best thing by far is that mother and father work things out, stay together, be there for the sake of the children. Thank you.